Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell you the truth about silver. Today is Thursday, the 6th of January 2022, and we're producing our regular morning update providing prices, news, and economic data. Today we have weaker gold and silver prices ahead of the US Non Farm Payrolls, which is due to report in a couple hours' time. Will they make a difference? Well, let's take a look. Welcome to Illuminati Silver. It's Friday, the 7th of January 2022 at 11:30 in the morning. The news today is undecided. Undecided because, on the one hand, we have a main header saying euro area inflation unexpectedly hits record in test for the European Central Bank. Inflation has bonds and commodities trading hand in hand again. And then we have US futures rise before jobs data, and the dollar falls. So on the one hand, with inflation rising, we're expecting potentially higher rates. But on the other, having seen some jobs data yesterday, that rate rise may or may not happen as quickly as some expect. So it's a bit undecided. Let's have a quick look at what's happening in the euro. We're going to keep today's a little shorter than normal. Inflation in the euro region accelerated beyond already record levels, defying expectations for a slowdown and complicating the task for the European Central Bank officials who insist the current spike is temporary. The euro strengthened, which is why the dollar fell slightly. Consumer prices jumped 5% from a year earlier in December, faster than the previous month's 4.9% gain and more than the 4.8% median estimate in a Bloomberg survey of economists. A measure that strips out volatile components such as food and energy came in at 2.6%, matching November's reading. Economic confidence in the euro area, meanwhile, slipped by more than analysts forecast amid the emergence of the coronavirus's high contagious Omicron variant. Friday's inflation data increases the pressure on the European Central Bank after supply chain disruptions and soaring energy costs drove prices growth to its fastest since the common currency was created. While the Frankfurt-based institution has mapped out a retreat from crisis-era stimulus measures, more aggressive monetary policy tightening by other major central banks has prompted some officials to urge a tougher stance. Having said that, this morning, US futures rise before jobs data. US equity index futures rose and the dollar fell as risk-taking returned to markets at the end of a turbulent week, with investors weighing US employment gains against the Federal Reserve's policy tightening plans. US hiring may have more than doubled in December from the previous month to 447,000 new jobs, projection for non-farm payrolls show. Well, we'll find out very shortly whether that is an accurate figure or not. The release would follow the Adp Research Institute data that showed companies added the most positions in 7 months. With Fed officials preparing for aggressive rate hikes and a contraction of the central bank's balance sheet, markets expect little chance of a change of heart, even if Friday's figures come in below expectations. Let's nip over to the BBC. Energy firms call for an end to green levies on bills. Rush to book holidays after travel rules relaxed. And UK house prices rose fastest for 17 years in 2021. And Bitcoin prices fall to its lowest level in months. UK house prices rose at a faster rate in 2021 than in any calendar year since 2004, according to the Halifax. Prices increased by 9.8% during 2021, it said, the fastest for any calendar year since a 12.5% rise in 2004. The average UK property price is now £276,000. US-Canada. Capital mob held dagger to America's throat, according to President Biden. The US marked the Capitol riot. It's all about the riots and the Maxwell case, as we can see here in the US news, as published by the BBC. Looking at the dollar index, down slightly but still holding above 96 and 96.18. Energy prices, unfortunately, are rising again, and now we have both WTI and Brent crude above $80. Equity markets in the US yesterday marginally down, but only a slither. Asia Pacific mixed, Hang Seng up while the Nikkei down. We said yesterday these two tend to go in opposite directions. And currently in Europe and the UK, broadly unchanged really. US economic data. Now we mentioned that on Wednesday we had the Adp Employment report, which was far better than expected. Yesterday, however, the initial jobless claims came in a little bit worse than anticipated. Admittedly, that's on a week-by-week basis. The continuing jobless claims, though, were also worse than expected. Not by much, but a little. Trade deficit marginally improved, still a minus $80 billion figure. The ISM Services Index, though, was higher than anticipated, lower than in November, but higher than anticipated, which really is making up for the slightly lower manufacturing index. Factory orders, marginally down. Not really enough here to cause the Fed to change course, in our opinion. However, today's non-farm payroll is the important one. And depending on that, as I say, if it's close to these figures of 422,000, there's going to be no change of policy. If it vastly improves upon that, then without a doubt we're going to see the Fed move with regards to its tapering and interest rate rises coming sooner. And if it grossly undershoots that figure, then that may give markets a little bit of a fillip, thinking that maybe the Fed will hold off slightly. It's only a few hours before we find out. Gold prices. They actually fell yesterday and are down over the last 24 hours by nearly $7 at $1,791. Gold failing to hold that $1,800 level. Everything's based on the non-farm payrolls today. Silver, really, yesterday morning I think it was close to it was just below 250. It's now 214. It's down 16 cents this morning. It's still holding above the 22, which I think is our outlier range prediction for the week. Cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin taking a bit of a hammering again, down now 1.35%, down 12% over the last 7 days, and its number 2 coin Ethereum are down 14%. So we got Bitcoin at $42,286. That's it for now. It's all on the non-farm payrolls. It could be a damp squib. Nothing happens, and therefore nothing changes. Equally, if it's much higher than expected, then we can expect the dollar to strengthen. And unfortunately, gold and silver prices may take a bit of a hit again. However, if it grossly undershoots, then the opposite will happen. Won't be long before we'll find out. Tomorrow we'll have our weekly update. Please tune in then. Meanwhile, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, press the bell sign. Until tomorrow. Illuminati Silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice and merely represent the personal views of its owners.